Well, hello everyone. Here, sure, right here. I'll talk about wrapping paper a lot of times, and when we speak about wrapping paper, though, I think that's another way of how you want to call it, is toward gift wrap, likely 102 is toward it could also be Hallmark wrapping paper. It could also be another source of a gift wrapping paper. But a lot of times, if we were to receive any source of gift, though, a lot of times, and 102 is toward what's one thing that you would look forward to a lot of times whenever it comes to receiving a present and whenever it comes to receiving any source of gift. And a lot of times it's like, especially if you're giving a gift to maybe to a young one, and let's just say that maybe if it's to like baby shower. It could also maybe be a birthday gift or something like that. But most of the time, whenever you do, like even around the holidays or maybe around Christmas time or something like that, any sort of special occasion, and so when we think about gift wrap a lot of times, so that you're going to maybe use the special type of wrapping paper, and let's just say this special type of wrapping paper is going to include a graphic right here, and that graphic is maybe going to include something like Tinkerbell. It could also include maybe like Scooby Doo or something like that, or any other source of character. And so it sure seems that way that if you want to kind of look at that to where kind of like a nightlight, like people want to know too, is to where that really what is real special about gift wrap. And I can go and write on here, talk about for gift wrap right here. And so it's like for gift wrap. And so really, what is so special about gift wrap a lot of times? And we probably say too that gift wrap is toward it. Besides that, it hides the surprise, and hides the surprise, but then on your hand too. That what's the what's so special about gift wrap? And so it sure seems that way that you're going to maybe asking the question toward it. The surprise, and but a lot of times it's like when we talk about for special right here, what's so special about gift wrap? And so at the time you're likely thinking as to where you're going to go ahead and add in right here is to where really that whenever you give a gift to somebody, and let's just say if you wrap it up all nice and everything, that if you want to kind of call it as to where like talk for appreciation. So if you want to say something like that, talk about for appreciation, but why would you want to go ahead and include any source of a graphic, type of gift wrapped whenever you're talking about wrapping up a present, right? Whenever you're wrapping up a present, if this special character, and let's just say if it is a Tinkerbell, it could also be Winnie the Pooh, or it could also be, like the fairy, or something like like a Hannah Montana. I'm like, so some source of character like that. So a lot of times that when we think about gift wrap, though, that are we necessarily thinking about is to where that this graphic right here is supposed to give that person who receives the gift, it's supposed to give them a clue to where that maybe what's inside, or just to kind of get their special attention. Like so a lot of times that when we think about when we speak about gift wrap, a lot of times, what does that usually mean? When we speak about gift wrap, that it's another way of how you want to call it, is toward whenever you do wrap a present, or what exactly is it that you're doing? And so, like you guys say, is toward well, how you see it though, is that that the graphic, the special type of gift wrapping paper also shows that I can if you want to kind of call us toward if it's going to be like any source of occasion, or that probably I could just say yeah. I mean, how many of us are really going to say if it's supposed to be for a special occasion? But let's just say like for like a party mix or something like that. Like in a number of times that you have given a gift to somebody, And let's just say though, a lot of times yeah, if you're going to give a gift to somebody, and you're likely want to know too that you go ahead and include maybe a ribbon or any sort of bow right there on top of the present, and it sure seems that way that you actually look at that is toward it. If you're going to be going to a birthday party, to a friend's birthday party, then maybe graphics of a certain character would be something toward it that people would be able to enjoy. Like, yeah, well, whenever you do unwrap a present, though, not only are you really looking and thinking about what's really on the inside that's going to be appreciated, but then also the type of a logo, like the type of design that's printed on the wrapping paper. So a lot of times when we think about that, though, is that if it's going to be a Tinkerbell, or maybe if it's going to be any other source of character, and let's just say that if it is Winnie the Pooh, or if it's any character, any type of a design like that. And so it sure seems that way that when we speak about gift wrap, though, that are we necessarily thinking about is this toward it? Yeah, and I could be honest with everybody here too. The number of times that I have received gifts, a lot of times, especially around Christmas time, though, that you actually like looking at those presents, despite about the size of the presents, though. But a lot of times that you actually enjoy, maybe the smell and sense of the gift wrap. A lot of times, so like yeah, especially if we're talking about maybe a football, or maybe if we're talking about any other sorts of sports event or something like that. And so a lot of times it's like if you were to be, I'm like, yeah, happy faces or something like that, or maybe a heart symbols or something like that, that you would see printed on the wrapping paper. And so that's why it sure seems that way, that when we think about wrapping paper, a lot of times that you're going to go ahead and maybe wrap the gift a certain way. And let's just say that maybe with a ruler and maybe a pair of scissors and maybe some gift wrapping tape, that you're going to go ahead and put maybe a layer of gift wrap, maybe like anybody say, yeah, if you're going to be wrapping up anything in particular, let's just say that, yeah, if you were to be maybe wrapping up if it's maybe movie passes or something like that, or maybe if it is maybe a picture frame of something special or something like that, it could also maybe be an engagement ring or something like that. So why is it that most of the time, though, like everybody would say to her, that yeah, wrapping paper, that does make a difference, and a lot of times you probably want to know too that you go ahead and wrap up your presents and wrap them up real good. And a lot of times it's like, yeah, if you really only take about 15 minutes to wrap up a present, and like everybody else would say too, that yeah, that if you were to pick up a present, like everybody else would say too, especially gift bags, and let's just say if it is a gift bag, and so it's like, yeah, when we talk about gift bags, gift bags, these sorts of gift baggie, that if you're going to include like a certain character or maybe a certain design, something like that. So it sure seems that way that I could be honest with everybody here too, that almost every time that I have received a gift, a lot of times it seems like to where if you were to actually see that there's like maybe like the Flintstones design character printed on the wrapping paper. A lot of times it was the wrapping paper. It was the wrapping paper that really cheered me up for the first few seconds. And like people may want to know too that you wonder why that maybe that the wrapping paper is maybe going to cheer you up for the first few seconds, just because about is to where you're very impressive of how it's designed and structured and all that. So a lot of times it's like, yeah, well, really, that the number one, though, that, yeah, whenever you do receive a present, though, that it's like everybody else will say, too, that if you're going to use that special type of wrapping paper, just because that they're asking you to hold up that gift, and then wait until we're able to get a few pictures. Like, yeah, and then I guess that's usually how it goes, is toward it. Talk about for gold token right forever right here, and then I'm like, yeah, well, what do I mean by that? Well, I use that the title right here just because of the fact that if you want to think about that, I'm like, oh yeah, I talked about for gold token right here, and so yeah, that was an idea that I thought about. That was about 3 years ago that was actually a design that I thought about just because that what does Tinkerbell really remind you of? Magical places or something like that. But on the other hand, that when we speak about gift wrap though, that what we necessarily thinking about is toward a gift of surprises, or if it's supposed to be like what does gold token pretty much mean? And if you want to call us toward that something that you would maybe find at like maybe Walt Disney World Resorts or something like that. So yeah, if you're going to receive any sorts of gold token, and I want to know too that if you're actually use it just to show us to where if there's any prizes or maybe any access to maybe the theme parks or something like that. But still that. On the other hand, I thought about that title just because of the fact that if you want to use for gold token but on the other hand though, that anything special, right? But it sure seems that way that when we think about gift wrap a lot of times, so that all we necessarily thinking about is to where you go ahead and wrap up a present very nice, right? And let's just say that if you were to wrap up a present to about maybe take about 15 minutes to wrap up a gift, right? And most of the time, a lot of parents would say too that they only, centimeters and millimeters. Most of the time, gift wrap is usually measured. And let's just say that if we were to actually do the math, though, that you go ahead and just say that if you were to actually do the measurement, and let's just say that no, it's 4 inches. 4 inches and an 8 millimeters is if we actually do the math right here, and if you include a star right there for any reason, I'm like, I don't really know if that's really how you would place the measurement, but I'll just say that 4 inches star times for 8 millimeters. So well, what does that mean necessarily? I'm like, well, that I guess that kind of means is toward it. Does that kind of give you a better idea about what you want to use? And let's just say that if you're trying to wrap up a present, and a lot of parents will probably say too, is that do you really pay attention to too much about how much wrapping paper you use just to be able to wrap up a present? And if you're going to be spending 15 minutes just to wrap up a lot of the presents, and let's just say that, if you actually were to kind of keep that in mind to a 4 inches and star, and if you were to put like a star right there, and let's just say that, most of the time, if you're going to be ordering a certain amount of wrapping, gift wrap or something like that, and you want to know too that, would you want to write down the measurements like that to where you go ahead and put a star right there in times 8 millimeters. And so a lot of times you want to know too that if you're going to be wrapping a present up, then you may only need about maybe 2 inches or so of wrapping paper or something like that, especially if it's going to be a small gift or something like that. But still, when we think about gift wrap a lot of times, especially around at the holidays, that if you see a present underneath that Christmas tree or anywhere, that you see a nice, if you see a present all nice wrapped up and everything, and a lot of times it's like, you're going to go ahead and use that special designed wrapping paper, and especially if it's at a birthday party or something like that. And a lot of, any friends and family would probably say too, that what's one thing that you really look forward to whenever you do receive a gift a lot of times. And it's like, really, that do we all really think about that to where that you're going to go ahead and think about a special type of wrapping paper that you want to use just to be able to cheer the group up. And let's just say that, just to cheer somebody up, that you go ahead and use that special type of wrapping paper just because that something that just known as to where that for how it's received, and then they're going to maybe ask you to where that please don't open it up right away, and wait 30 seconds before you start unwrapping the present. And so that's why it sure seems that way, that yeah, if you want to go ahead and, I really don't know if all wrapping paper is going to be like that, but let's just say that if you were to go ahead and include like any sort of memo right here on the wrapping paper or something like that, and let's just say one of those memos is maybe going to be like, wait until after the picture is taken, or I'm like, yeah, wait. And so, I really don't know. I'm like, but still, let's just say that the person who's going to be, you know, going to be delivering the gift, and it might even say too that wait until wait until the group wait until the group I'm like gives you cake first. Yeah, gives you cake first. So a lot of times, have we ever really thought about that? To where that most of the time, whenever whenever presents are received, a lot of times though, that are we necessarily going to write on a gift right here to where wait, group hug or something like that, or group give the cake first or something like that. So each time we think about that, to where whenever it comes to gift exchange, though, that do we really need any sorts of wrapping paper that's maybe going to remind us to where that wait, don't open your gift yet. Wait until you're all together, and then to be able to take the picture, so that way you can go in and wait until everybody's together. Wait until you get the group picture in, and before you go ahead and start opening up the presents or something like that. So a lot of times it's like, yeah, especially around Christmas time, that are you really going to use that special type of wrapping paper just before you use that wrapping paper? And let's just say that, like everybody else would say too, that if we're talking about maybe box wrapping paper, something like that, or tissue wrapping paper, something like that, have we really thought about that, to where if you're going to be wrapping up your presents, and let's just say if you're going to be using that special type of wrapping paper, and then maybe that you're going to maybe say something like, yeah, that wrapping paper, the way that it was designed, that you're actually, are you really telling anybody who's waiting to receive that gift, or anything? Have you really ever thought about that? When we think about wrapping paper, though, that when we think about wrapping paper, though, that you really are hiding that surprise. You're trying to surprise somebody, right? That's really what you're trying to do. There's something special. You're special as to where you're trying to surprise somebody. Trying to surprise. You're trying to surprise somebody, right? And in order to be able to surprise someone, that at the same time, that what is it that the gift wrap tells that person, tells whenever it comes to and from, and so let's just say if you were to include a memo such as toward that if you were to be giving somebody a gift, though, and let's just say that if there's going to be a wrapping paper that's maybe going to say is toward it, that if you were to actually receive a gift, a lot of times, that do you think that maybe that people may want to know too, that the directions. So it sure seems that way, that really, why would you really want to include any source of a hidden memo? And I'm like, like if when we call hidden and a lot of times it sure seems that way, that when we speak about hidden a lot of times, and you want to know too that okay, why would, I'm like, like a picture, if you're going to include any source of picture diagrams or something like that. So whenever we think about gifts a lot of times, though, whenever we think about gifts most of the time, that what exactly is it that we're really trying to tell the person that we're giving that gift to? And let's just say that maybe if we're able to include it, like if we're going to go ahead and get like a special type of wrapping paper that's going to be made to where that on that wrapping paper that you include a little memo right there on the top left or on the top right, right? And let's just say if you're going to say something like as to where that before you open this, I would like you to read this message here on the left, before you open it. So a lot of times it's like, yeah, so let's just say that number one, it could also be the reason to where that the person who gave you this gift was not, it could have been for that reason. The person who tried to give you that gift was not able to be here at the party, or it could be a bias as to whose original idea it was due to shopping, and then whose idea it was, just to be able to go to the gift shop and just get you a gift. So let's just say that if it's a gift, a gift from all of us to you or something like that. So a lot of times it's like when we think about gift wrap, a lot of times that we probably think about that to where that have we thought about that to where whenever it comes to gift of kindness, a lot of times, from gifts, the gift from all of us to that person. And so you want to know too is toward it that when we think about gifts, gift wrap, a lot of times, that are we necessarily going to think about gift wrap is toward it by the time you actually open up that present and to see what's on the inside. And they want to know too is toward it, it may only take you about maybe 30 seconds to a minute to open up the present just to see what's inside, right? And a lot of times you want to know too is to where that that whenever you do use that special type of gift wrapping, and let's just say that you want to go ahead and use the type of gift wrap to where somebody is familiar with, like, the character, you're going to go ahead and use that character, that special character. And let's just say if it's Tinkerbell, or maybe let's just say that if it's Winnie the Pooh, or if it's maybe the Disney Frozen character or something like that. And you want to know too is to where that are you trying to tell the person to where please don't open right away until you read the card, until you please read the card first before you open up the present. And so a lot of times it's like hidden messages. And so a lot of times it's like, whenever you do see that, and what does that tell you? In case of anybody that may want to know too, what is, it tells that person, number one, though, it's like, that, this, that what you really are trying to say is toward something like, you can maybe say something like, please, for enjoy. And that when we receive a gift, a lot of times, though, that gifts can mean, they come in a variety of different shapes and sizes, and also, but really, how many of us have really thought about that to where that especially like a lot of the FedEx delivery persons, like anybody like the post office could probably say too, that when we think about gifts, a lot of times, though, that there's only so much information. When we see a gift, a lot of times, you really don't know what's on the inside until until you open it. But then, of course, like everybody else would say too, if you don't use a special type of wrapping paper, then maybe that person is not able to know or realize what's really before you open this gift. And so a lot of times that when we think about wrapping paper, a lot of times wrapping paper is wrapping paper. You open up a gift and you see what's on the inside. But let's just say that on the average, though, maybe if it's supposed to be like a special occasion, like an engagement ring, and let's just say that somebody's going to ask you to you're going to go and wrap up a present, and the way that you want it delivered, though, that you want to have it delivered to where that you want to actually want to wait until that favorite moment. And let's just say that if that's the way it is with most gifts, is that to where you want to wait to until that special moment. And so I'm sure most of us, especially during graduation, if it's weddings or graduation, that you actually there is a gift that you actually don't want everybody to just dig into the presents and just pick out whichever ones that okay, this is for you and this is for you, and so that's why it sure seems that way toward it. Do you think that maybe a special type of wrapping paper would be preferred toward to tell the person to where that please, don't open this right away, that I actually want to be there and I actually want to talk to that person. I'm like, yeah, if it's supposed to be like, yeah, for anything, yeah, personal, or I'm like, yeah, it could be personal, or it could also be maybe the type of moment toward it. Please, I would like to give you a gift to where I can actually talk to you further about it. And so it sure seems that way that we could all probably say too that we've been there to where that whenever you do receive a gift that you actually want to use that special type of wrapping paper to where you're able to include a memo, and you're able to actually tell that person to where yeah, if it's if you were shopping around for the grandkids or something like that, that you actually wanted to use that wrapping paper just to kind of you actually want to use that type of wrapping paper to where to cheer up a few of the children, and then they can actually see that interesting type of wrapping paper right there, and with that wrapping paper that if I say especially around the holidays, especially that you're going to be looking at those presents a lot of times. And what's one thing that you're going to see impressive about a lot of those presents? It's like not only the fact about if you see your name on the gift, but then also the wrapping paper. It's the wrapping paper also that's also something special about that, and so that's why it sure seems that way. That you see the wrapping paper right there, and what I know is to where you're gonna go and look at the present, and you're gonna maybe see is to where hey that the things that you really look forward to about that wrapping paper, to where that you just want to spend just a few seconds looking at that wrapping paper, and people likely want to know too. You go ahead and look at the wrapping paper, a few seconds, and so it sure seems that way that for a few seconds though, and like we would probably say too, that a few seconds to where that you just go ahead and if you want to kind of call it, observing the gifts, and also just to kind of get a good idea, but still on your hand that it's like you spend maybe an hour wrapping presents one night, just because of the fact that you actually whenever you do gift shopping a lot of times, that what you really are trying to do is to where like the way this is the gold token right there is worded to where you want to go ahead and include a memo right there on the gift right there. So let's just say if you're going to be wrapping any sorts of presents though, that you want to include a memo right there on the left, and stating to where that please read this before you open the present. And so a lot of times it's like you include a memo, and let's just say that that memo is maybe going to be about as to where that it took me a long time to be able to find this, and please appreciate it. And so a lot of times everybody else would say too that whenever you do give somebody something, and let's just say if you send them a present, and a lot of times that you go ahead and include a memo on the gift, and so that's why it sure seems that way that you're going to go ahead and use that special type of wrapping paper, and maybe request to have a special designed wrapping paper to where you can include a memo on the left right there, to where that I actually I want you to go ahead and wait until until our it could be an anniversary. I want you to wait until the day before our anniversary before you open this gift, and so that way we can talk about it. And so the way we think about the gift of gift, especially gifts, so wrapping paper and all that, and a lot of times you want to know too that you use for what's exciting about that wrapping paper, and people are thinking as to where that you actually wrapping paper tells you all kinds of things, stories and experience about for what you find out later on, But on the other hand, too, it sure seems that way that when we think about wrapping paper, though, that's going to remind you of a lot of those special moments. And those special moments are like, really, something to think about, just to talk about the thank you for the gift of kindness. But anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.